a silent movie or something. You know, I try to find something to justify it. But yeah, so I think we're back on now in this regard. So, but yeah, man. So on there talking to having an exchange with Mr. James Jackson, who has the Perkins Foundation, and very good brother, very sincere brother, a very honest brother, and it's a brother that what he does things from the heart. We was talking about dealing with science, and Mr. Jackson was saying that science is important to him. I had made a statement in regards to someone said about brother. I think Imam Muhammad says that a person can only progress in the scope in which he or she can see, and I said if someone is looking up amongst the stars through a telescope or whatever the scope in which they're using, the lens in which they're using, then they give you that telescope, but that telescope that they're giving you is a defaulty one. You know what I'm saying? Then therefore, you only can see, see not above or look beyond your circumstances. That you can, you become like almost confined and imprisoned by way of your circumstances. And you made a point in regards to about that you don't necessarily have to see the stars. Is that correct, Jackson?
Yeah, I don't think you have to see something in order to be able to advance in that knowledge and stuff. You can gain knowledge through just reading. I mean, any information that you're able to comprehend as to who you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was thinking though, as we were sharing earlier, I was thinking that I remember I was saying earlier about the when I went to the Smithsonian in Washington, here in Washington D.C. Whereas that I looked up and I could see the stars, and that really that fascinated me. And I remember I was a little child, I was always a stargazer. My parents would come look for me, and I would be outside looking up in the sky, And then I would make reference to how early on, how I, maybe once my dreams and my aspirations, whatever they were, I would say, of looking up and fascinated with the horizon of this, maybe the first flag. The first flag, is the stars, the moon, and the sun. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Looking at that canvas, that's what's painted on that canvas up there in the universe. And then all of a sudden, I maybe my vision became tainted some. Due to outside influence and so forth and so on, maybe because we're talking about what I've been exposed to, and then all of a sudden, now I'm trying to get back on track by way of reading books. So you're saying that finding knowledge or reading can help expand your horizon. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. At least that's what I believe.
Yeah. Now. In reading books, man, I mean, what types of books is it? Could it be any books, or is it a particular type of books or genre of books that you read to expand one's horizons?
I think it depends on what you're looking for. I mean, what type of information are you interested in? For me, science was a big thing, so I would read. I remember when I was a child and stuff, we had in the World Book Encyclopedia, and I remember I would sit for hours and just go through each book, starting with the A, and just go through each one of them. That was my thing and stuff. Just absorbing that information. And like you, I took the trip to the Smithsonian and went to the planetarium and stuff, and found it very interesting. and stuff. That's what actually put me on to, for my love for science.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. That is good stuff. Now, um, these the books that you have read. I mean, so there was a spark of interest. Uh, and anytime there is a spark, more than likely, it creates a fire. So you mean tell me that that by you experiencing that there was a fire that was in you that was driving you to be more geared to science?
As a child, though, I used to have a problem uh, comprehending as far as, well, at least reading, put it like that. I just have a problem reading. And, people would always call you, back then when I was young and stuff, would call you stupid and say you was dumb. People make fun of you for being in a remedial class and stuff like that. So I started to learn on my own, and like I said, through the World Book Encyclopedia and stuff. And, even within my own family, I had that problem. People making fun of you for trying to learn, for trying to understand things and stuff, But I got over that by learning a few words at a time, then using those words to read just about everything I could find and stuff. Basically teaching myself, because it was difficult in school to do it in those remedial classes and stuff.
That's it. I hear a lot of things. I hear, first of all, World Book Encyclopedia. The world is global. World Book. And then I hear
those was our computers back then.
Yeah. Oh man, ain't that something, man? Yeah, that's something, buddy. And then I was thinking about how because this is a learning environment. This universe is a learning environment. And I think of science. I think of science as nothing is created of itself nor for itself. But science it's like a living organism. It always is evolving. And then I think about when you're saying sometimes people will make either try to devalue and make you feel not so good about yourself.
Yeah, make you feel inferior.
Yeah.
But you have to try to get past that, because that's mostly them and stuff. It's something in them that they see, and I guess I feel like they dislike it, so they project their feelings on you.
Yeah, that's interesting though. I mean, as someone says, the way you feel about others is really the way you feel about yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we know that's been passed down. That's been passed down. I realize that when I think of guidance, I think about new life. New life is the reproduction of the old life, the previous life that existed before it, and that which we have inherited. So in the manner and way in which, if anything that is wrong, is required upon us to correct it, and anything that we could take from it, we will, and for the benefit of the greater good of our humanity, But this make you feel inferior. So we know it sounds like that has been someone has been that sounds like that's institutionalized. People call it when you stay in prison and and you come out and you still act the same way because you have been institutionalized. So you mean tell me that's that people make you feel inferior? So you saying that's in the educational system that is they're trained to do that?
I'm not sure they're trained to do it. I think sometimes it's based on individuals' personality, what they have experienced themselves, and they can't seem to separate that from the educational system. It's more of their own personal feelings and stuff. When they project those type of things on you, it has to do with them. I'm not sure. Not too much to do with the educational system itself, except for when it's interference to policy from from politics.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So,
But it's, to me, I think it's mostly what people have experienced. People mostly um, who they are is things they have experienced, and they bring that to work with them. They don't just stay at home. Unfortunately.
mm-hmm. Because when I think about work, I think about we're created agriculturalist people, industrialist people. I realize that mental labor precedes physical labor. So I'm saying it has something to do with their mentality. I always say you can tell the psychology of one mentality by what he or she produces. But then again, you also are saying to me is that you are not blaming or placing blame on anyone. You are saying that people are responsible for their own as an individual for their own actions and decisions. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, because by nature we're all created, to be responsible. We're created with responsibilities. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the primary responsibility I realize is to be a good steward over that which has been created on this plane of existence. And that was strange to me. That was strange to me is that when humankind or human beings, whatever, use their mental faculties and their physical abilities to put people at odds with one another, that's strange. That's real strange.
Yes.
Yes. So.
Well, with those negative things that existed in my childhood, helped me to not do the same when I had a child. And so, of course, when I've always been there as far as my son goes. For him educationally and stuff. I helped him every day when he came, when he came home with homework. I always helped him with his homework. Even as a baby, I started teaching him when he was around 2 or 3. I started working with him, doing simple things like helping him understand the weather and stuff like that. Asking him questions, and I brought a computer and used educational CDs to teach him as far as math goes and science and different things to expand his mind, because children, when they're in that age group around about 2 or 3, they soak up knowledge. Everything they see, they learn, and it stays with them. Because my son James, he was a national math champion, and he received several medals for mathematics and a couple of trophies. He was in every science fair. Received principal awards and just different aspects when it comes to education and stuff.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Because whatever it is that you were going through, and whatever it is that they was being falsely.
I took a negative and turned it into a positive.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, I forgot to mention that Brother James Jackson is also an interpreter of mine. He can, because you see how he just said what I wanted to say. I mean, I didn't know how to say it, but he came and said it for me. You know what I'm saying? He said, "Hey, not only he's a prophet. He just prophetically said he can interpret what's going on." Oh. Yeah, man, that's a beautiful thing, man, my brother. So, but also there was a teaching, and wonder if you could elaborate on this as well. There was a test that was going out about, because I think, now I stopped my sentence there, I do that a lot, but there was a test that was going out when it comes to people who do good on, what they call, aptitude tests or whatever, I just use that language because once you throw off, Chica Diop said this, scholars say once you throw off the environment, the ecology of the environment in which the people live, the intellectual aptitude for learning becomes difficult. The Asians, whites, and blacks and Hispanics, and how the Asians did good, and I think whites was second, and I forgot else the category. Those that did good and those that didn't do so good in taking the test is that, and I ain't talking about the curriculum that was being issued to them, based upon the test that they took. But the point was making was this: is that time equals task, or vice versa, is that it said that the Asians spend less time playing video games, they spend more time studying. You know what I'm saying? So we cannot make any excuses. Like I said, people say you're a product of your environment. Well, that's something true, but we're really a product of the decisions that we make. So we have to spend more time in business as opposed to show. People in the show business, but more in the business in the show. We have to spend more time in the studying, and less time in the sport and play. And I think that's a challenge too in this society in which we live, and the influence that it may have through media, press, and television. Because you said that you put in the time with little James, and you see how it played out, how the results of that. You see what I'm saying? And,
yes.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just agreeing with you.
Huh?
I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. So and then you did not let like I said, once again the negative stuff to get to you, and you turn into a positive, and you made sure, man, that you didn't let anything come in between the valuable time of your son in regards to helping him to achieve a high level of success, huh? Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing. So what that also says is that you, I think Marcus Garvey said this. He said that the greatest force is success. Nightingale, white guys, and Carnegie, all them talks about that. But my thing is this here is that you successfully overcame the negativity that other people were saying against you. And the thing is, though, that was it so that you saw the value in the value in yourself first, the value in and it comes to that which sparks by what you saw in the universe, and the value in the books, and then you put it all together, and then you say, well, this value is, I see this in, and it's for the benefit of my son. You think that's the case?
Yeah, I feel like that's exactly what it was and stuff. It was I was just determined not to make any of the people in my life feel the way I felt coming up as a child. I didn't think any human being deserved that. Anybody that you encounter in your life deserved to be made to feel less than what they were.
Yes.
So I wanted to be a better person. And if you want to create better people, that's what you have to do. You have to change yourself first.
Yes, that's as they say in the Sherlock Holmes Elementary, my dear Watson Elementary. But elementary comes from the word elements. But yeah, man. So that's good stuff, man. And that's very sound, very clean, very clear, and very concise. Is that you must see the value in yourself, and knowing that which you have experienced You don't want anyone else to experience that. And once you don't want anyone else to experience that. Primarily those whom you love, and those whom you interact with, on a daily basis. That you can do your best to help add to the value that they have by way of being conceived on this plane of existence. Because we all have value. That's why we are here. And I'm not disputing the fact that those who did not make it, because anything that has taken form will always be remembered. You know what I'm saying? So I think that when we do not remember the value of our existence when it comes to our humanity, for the development of our intellect, when we don't remember it, it puts us in exile, and that which puts us in exile, it imprisons us. Yes. So we create our own prison. Yes. When we do not remember that our existence here is to add to the beauty and the value that already exists here. Yes. Yeah. So, man, this has been a pleasure, man, having an exchange with you. That's what I always say, Common Humanity always promotes the value of self-worth. Always try to promote the value of self-worth, and may we not continue to see ourselves view ourselves and treat ourselves as a commodity, but see ourselves and treat ourselves as human beings with feelings and honor and nobility and dignity, Yes. Any closing remarks or comments or questions and challenges, Mr. Jackson?
No, it's been a good conversation.
Yes. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I really adhere to reasoning from the premise of conversation and learning to reason with progression, But, yeah, man, it's been good, man. I want to thank you for your time. Just hold tight for a minute, and I'm going to move on. Resiliency, a vision. Brother Kevin with Brother James Jackson with the Perkins Foundation. Did you want to elaborate on the Perkins Foundation, Mr. Jackson?
Well, it's more of just a thing that was set up by Total Sunshine after my son passed. Like on Total Sunshine website, they can go there and click on James' name on the website, and can find information about James on totalsunshine.org.
Can you say that again? Say that again.
Yes, it's totalsunshine.org.
Yes, sir. You heard it from Brother James Jackson. No, and not to mention anyone, if you got any when it comes to websites you need and set up some things technologically when it comes to flyers or brochures or whatever, James Jackson is the man, Yeah, James Jackson is the man. Okay, brother, man, want to say nothing but the best for you and your family. Hold tight for a minute, and then we'll roll from there. Hold tight, okay?
Okay.